From the Kiss 92.5 studios in Toronto, Canada.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Roz and Mocha.
it's Roz and Mocha. What's going on?
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
This is Selena Gomez.
The Chainsmokers.
Lady Gaga.
Calvin Harris.
Celestia Cara.
This is Ed Sheeran.
You're listening to my boys Roz and Mocha.
Roz and Mocha.
My boys Roz and Mocha.
The Roz and Mocha Show.
Between Roz and Mocha, who is your favorite?
Mocha. Mocha. You guys are so funny, man.
Congratulations, Lisa! Wow!
You just won $1,000.
That is amazing. Y'all just made my entire morning. Keep it up.
You guys are awesome, man.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast. Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is...
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Rob, welcome to Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life. I have so many questions about this FML. Go ahead. Just let everyone know why you're here.
How do I manage a mountain of repairs with only a thimble of time?
You wrote us this. Roz and Mocha, we've somehow ended up with over a dozen vehicles and machines, cars, ATVs, motorcycles, a boat, snowmobile, a tractor, a hoist, and every single one needs work. I can fix most of it, but with a full-time job and an ancient house to maintain, the real issue is time. So how many beers does it take to bribe friends into helping? And how do I decide between spending weekends wrenching or just hiring someone so I can actually enjoy life?
Question number one, Rob, how did you acquire so many of these things?
They turn out to be bargains. They look like bargains.
Mm-hmm.
So you bought them.
I could use that one day in the future. Yes.
All right. So you bought them because you said here, we've somehow ended up with this, and that. But you didn't somehow end up with those. You are the one responsible for making those purchases.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you think that maybe that's the problem?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so Rob, your problem is not that you have all of this stuff that somebody just threw at you that you now need to fix, and you have deadlines and everything else. This is a totally self-inflicted problem.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you even want to fix these things? Like, are you going to use all of them? Are you going to use, like, the cars, the ATVs, the motorcycles, the boat, the snowmobiles, the tractor? Like, are you going to use all that stuff?
That's the dilemma, that if I spend time working with them, I won't have time to play with them.
I know, but how long is it going to take for you to fix all those things, right? That's the real question. Here's what I think, okay?
Yeah.
Option one. You look at all those things and think about the ones that you really, really want to fix and you really, really want to use, and you work on those. And sell the ones that you're not really that attached to. Or option number two, if you want to fix all of them, why don't you make a list from, like, I don't know, easiest to fix to most difficult. And then start with the easiest, because as you progress through that list, you're going to get better and better at wrenching, and it'll give you more motivation to then tackle the one big job at the very, very end.
That would be an excellent plan.
Okay. Do you have a wife?
Yes.
Is this why you're feeling so overwhelmed? Is because she's making you eat it over all this stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you just sell this and buy something that works?
Yeah. Okay. So what do you do for a living?
Engineering.
Okay. So this is not your job.
Correct.
This is your hobby.
Yes.
And what you've done is you've taken your hobby and you've spent money that you probably shouldn't have, probably don't have, and you've turned your hobby into this overbearing burden because you told your wife that all of this was going to be okay because you'd fix them all, sell them all, and make the money back. And now you're feeling all of this wild pressure, and you don't know what to do with it.
Fair point.
Okay, so, bro, your hobby is your hobby. That's something you do when you want to tinker, you want to fix something up, everything else. Here's the only way out of this, and I don't even know if there's a market for all the junk that you bought. If people want to buy a bunch of machines that don't work, not everybody's like you, but one at a time, bro. You want to fix a motorcycle? You got a motorcycle in the garage. You tell your wife, "Hey, I'm going out to work on the bike." She's like, "Oh, that's cool. He's working on his hobby. He loves it. He comes back invigorated, sense of accomplishment. He's a great man when he goes out and he gets to tinker on the bike." You cannot go out there and stare at this giant mess that you've created with cars, ATVs, motorcycles, a boat, a snowmobile, a tractor, and a hoist. That's not a hobby.
No, it's a collection.
It's not. It's an obsession.
Yeah.
Right? You have a shopping problem.
I have heard that one too.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's what you need to fix.
The desire to collect. Yes.
Stop calling it a collection like it's some sort of
Okay.
artisanal thing. It's not a collection, dude. It's junk.
How about this, Rob? Why don't you pick one of the items that you have
Yeah.
collected? Keep that one.
Yeah.
Get rid of all the others. Tell your wife, I'm getting rid of all of them. Sell them for like scrap metal, whatever. Make whatever you
Yep.
can off of everything else. Keep one and say, listen, this is the one I'm keeping. This is the one I'm going to mess with. And that's it.
That would be difficult. But
Why?
emotion, well, not so much emotional attachment, but future desire to use.
Bro, they don't
Yeah.
work.
Okay, tell us this collection of things that you haven't fixed, but have the desire to and to use. How long have these existed in your life?
Between 3 months and 5 years.
And how many of those items have you messed with already?
Dude.
Most.
Dude.
Yes.
How many have you fixed and sold?
In the current collection,
Yeah,
none, but
none.
previously.
No, we're not talking about previous. I don't care about that.
Okay, yes.
All right,
None.
Rob, sell them all except for one, okay?
Get rid of it. Give yourself
Do
some
it. Listen,
breathing
bro,
room.
we are going to follow up with you and find out if you did it. And next time we follow up with you, we want to talk to your wife as well.
Better have.
No. Yeah, well, you better have, but we also want to talk to your wife.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
We're going to do a couples thing.
Can you promise us that you're going to get rid of all of them except for one?
I can work on it, but not promise it.
Nah, he's not going to do it.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to follow up with
They all have
you
different purposes.
in September. I know. One's a boat.
Yeah.
It goes in the water. One's a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's
One's a
got two
hoist.
wheels.
The hoist hoists up the boat. Okay, Rob, we're going to call you back in September for an update.
September,
You
okay.
have until September to figure this out, to sell everything except for one. And when we talk to you again in September, we want to talk to your wife as well.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, cool.
All right, Rob.
Right.
I believe in you, buddy. You
Yeah.
can do this.
Rob's not answering our phone.
No. I believe in you, Rob. You're going to get through this. All right?
Okay.
And when
All
we talk
right.
to you in September, you're going to have great news for us. You're going to say, Roz Mocha, I made all this money off of all this junk. I fixed up the boat. Wife is happy. Everything is great.
It's going to be sitting on my mind until then.
Okay.
All right, Rob. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
On Kiss.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is,
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Welcome to Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life. Claudette, what is on your mind today?
how do I get my grown son to be kinder to his little sister?
Oh, wow. Claudette, you wrote us this. I have an 18-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an almost 1-year-old.
Oh, wow.
My 18-year-old is constantly mean to his 5-year-old sister. He picks on her and makes her cry all the time. When we tell him to leave her alone, he responds with, "That's what siblings do, but it's different." He's like an adult in her life and not a typical sibling. How can I improve their relationship? So
Has it always been this way?
I think so. Like, as another parent, he helps with, like, getting her to bed when she was younger, like nap time and making her eat. But he just doesn't understand compromise with children.
So he was an only child for 15 years.
Yes,
That's a problem.
I think so.
Yeah. Have you guys discussed that?
No, I haven't.
Why not?
That is a great question, and I think I should.
Yes, you should.
I think he's just taking out his anger and jealousy on her because she's 5, and he can't do that with a 1-year-old.
And he went from you just said it right now, how much he helps out. He went from being a 15-year-old who was just about to turn 16 and an only child and still some days felt like a kid. And then all of a sudden you had another baby and he's now a parent.
I wouldn't say so much of a parent.
You know what I
He would
mean?
pick her
He's a
up after
babysitter.
school,
He's
but yeah.
a babysitter, right? He's a babysitter, and I think that was probably a little much for him. And then all the attention when a boy's about to turn 16, when you're 15 going on 16, whether you're a boy or a girl, you need that, And I'm guessing he felt like he lost the thing that he needed at a time when he probably really needed it because all the attention was then on the baby, right?
But I did make it a point to make sure that he still felt like he had one-on-one time and that we still spent lots of time and money on him. And he still gets like I do whatever he needs. Like if he asks for something, he gets it. If he needs
I think,
help, I
though,
help him.
Roz brought up a really good point is you may have done all those things to kind of show him, but you've never had the discussion. You've never talked to him about being an only child for so long before 2 other kids were brought into the family, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and when you
that's a great conversation to have.
And when you say to a 15-year-old, "Hey, you're big now. You gotta help out with your little sister."
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. It's tough when you're 15, and it's not that you didn't give him the right attention, but in that house, he went 15 years where he was the priority because he was the only one. Then at 15, he was no longer the priority. The baby was the priority because babies have to be, right? He was no longer the priority. And not only that, he was asked then to, switch his life up and help out when needed. And that's how you framed being a good big brother, was being a good big brother meant helping out.
Yeah, it was only a little bit. Like for after school, he'd pick her up and put her to nap. And we paid him every single time.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So what you hired him?
Yeah.
Right? Like you hired him to do it. It doesn't make it makes it okay because you paid him, right? So like his role in all of that became helper. And that's what sort of, and I'm sure on a day where if he was late picking her up or didn't put her down or did something the wrong way, he would hear about it, right? And that doesn't lead to a healthy relationship. And I'm not saying you did anything wrong because this is what families have been doing since the beginning of time when there's big age gaps in kids. But the one thing you haven't done is you haven't sat down and had that conversation to find out why he's doing this. You tell him not to do these things, but you got to get to the bottom of why he's doing these things.
And the answer can't just be that's what siblings do.
Yeah.
Because guaranteed there's going to be some... Once you have that conversation, jealousy will come up.
Yeah, this is not where he saw his life, right?
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that when you have these conversations with him about how he's mean to the 5-year-old, you go at these conversations not being curious or sympathetic to why he may be acting like that. You go to these conversations defending the 5-year-old, telling him to stop, telling him he's doing it wrong. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he is so nice to the 1-year-old in front of her to make her feel even bad.
Yeah.
Like worse.
Yeah. Well, because what's he going to do? His problem isn't with the 1-year-old, right? His problem is that where his life is, what happened to his life when the 5-year-old came around.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm definitely going to have that conversation.
Yeah.
All right, Claudia.
You should.
All the best, girl.
All right, thank you.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
On Kiss.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is...
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Oh, boy. Cannot wait to talk to you about your FML today, Carolyn. What's up?
So how do I care less about my job?
How do you care less about your job? Carolyn, you wrote us this. Hey, Roz and Mocha Fix My Life. I'm an educator in the school system, and I care far too much for my students. It's a struggle to get parents to see what I see and that they need to go to the doctor to get assessments done. Or my heart breaks for students who I feel are not cared for in a great way. So what exactly are you talking about here, Carolyn?
So I am an elementary teacher, and I work at a school where a lot of single parents are and do the best that they can, but it may not be the best that I would do in parenting. And I find that when the bell rings and I go home, my day doesn't end. I still have emotional pain for them, and I just want what's best for them. And I'm really struggling to shut off at the end of the day and then be with my family 100% of the time.
How long have you been teaching for?
8 years.
Okay. So when you were in teacher's college, though, I'm sure something like this came up, how to not bring the stuff home with you or how to deal with situations similar to what you're going through right now. What did they tell you about that?
You know what? It didn't, because I had good classes and families and schools that I went to in teachers college, so it wasn't really brought up.
I think that, one, the only thing you can do is do the best you can.
Yeah.
Right? And whether that is what you do in the classroom or exhausting all the resources that are available to you through the school, which as far as I know are not a whole lot, right? You can't tell somebody how to parent. That's not your job. Right. You get the kid for a certain amount of hours in a day. Now, if you feel like a kid is in danger, whatever, again, I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what your stupid union says, what their rules are, what you're allowed to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's available to you other than what is laid out in front of you as far as the protocols and process that you need to follow. I would highly recommend against going outside of any of those things because that historically never ends well for the teacher. Yeah.
How do I stop my brain and heart about worrying about these kids?
Okay, so when you worry about a kid, right? You got a kid in there whose home life isn't that great. Who maybe doesn't have, the bright future laid out for them that, a lot of other kids do. Just know that the way out of that situation for that kid is you.
Okay.
Okay? It's you and then the teacher who comes after you and the teacher who comes after them. And
because you're the ones that are spending the most time with them during the day.
You got to get a kid excited about learning. It's not about what they're learning. You have to make them love learning. And you know that. And that is where you need to really come through for the kids. Because there are so many stories, millions of stories where kids grew up in these kinds of homes and they can trace their success later in life back to that one teacher they had. There's a million of those stories. And your job is to be that person for them.
Instead of going home at the end of the day and taking all the negative aspects that you see, Carolyn, why not flip it and think about how you can make an impact, how you can, if it's with the entire class or if it's with certain students, how are you going to turn this negative into a positive? How are you going to make sure that they have an awesome day? How are you going to make sure that they are encouraged and they have the tools and they know how to speak up for themselves and how fun they are going to have and how much they're going to look forward to coming into Carolyn's class every single day? Right? Think of it in that aspect, and I think you won't get so bummed out. You might get excited instead. Excited to show up every single day, to inspire, to have these kids learn, to have these kids have fun at the same time, and look to you as that one person that maybe they look forward to seeing and spending time with every single day during that school week.
Okay.
Maybe try that approach. That might make you feel better because at the end of the day, once you start doing those things and you see those smiles or you hear the laughs or you know that you've made a difference, at the end of the day, you're going to go home feeling recharged and you're going to remember why it is that you got into this business in the first place. And you're going to be excited to maybe you tell your family about the awesome day that you had. I had this one kid said this real funny thing and then we did this awesome stuff and it was a great day and they left the school today feeling happy and energized, or they left the school today feeling completely wiped out because we had such an awesome day of stuff in the classroom today.
You're right. Yeah.
Right? Don't let it get you down.
Try that.
Because when you let it get you down at night, you wake up thinking about the exact same thing, and then you show up at work with like a negative taste in your mouth and thinking about, God, I have to go through this again. How long do I have to feel these feelings? How am I going to get through today for these kids?
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Flip it. Be excited to go in every day and inspire and teach and have fun.
Thank you.
Okay?
I appreciate you.
Try that, Carolyn. We got you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
If you need anything else, you know how to reach out, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Catch the guys live
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
on Kiss 92.5
Kiss925.com.
or download the Seeker app.